Okay, I teased this, so I want to spit this out for you guys. I looked up what I came up with, the 10 most surprising things I've seen in the first month of the NFL season, in no order. Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels of the Commanders is completing 82% of his passes, and he's throwing it a lot. He was 26 of 30 yesterday. Washington has had 23 scoring drives this season and only 19 incomplete passes by Daniels. The Niners, by comparison, have had 21 scoring drives, but 38 incomplete passes by Purdy. So, I mean, Washington's punter is a guy named Tress Way. He's only punted 4 times in the first 4 games. So, Jaden Daniels has to be surprise number 1. Surprise number 2 has got to be Sam Darnold. He's 4-0, but not only is he 4-0, they beat the Niners, they beat the Packers, they beat the Texans, and Sam Darnold is playing great. He's completing 70% of his passes, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's got to be on the list. Sammy Dimes is on the list. Okay, Dallas. Dallas has just gotten their doors blown off at home. Baltimore just took them apart. Now, the final score was 28-25, but if you watch that game, it was 28-6 Ravens in the fourth quarter, and then Dallas had some garbage time scores. And Baltimore ran in that game for 274 yards on Dallas's defense. Dallas can't stop the run. They're last in the NFL themselves at running the ball. They only average 75 yards a game on the ground. And then you look at what New Orleans did to them. New Orleans beat them 44-19 at home. So they've gotten destroyed by Baltimore and New Orleans at home. They can't run the ball and they can't stop the run. Sounds like you could put a line through the Cowboys, as a Super Bowl contender. That's number 3. Number 4, Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke are getting fired at the end of the year in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's 0-4. Trevor Lawrence is regressing. He's completing only 53% of his passes. I just told you Jaden Daniels is at 82%. So what's Trevor Lawrence's excuse? He's got all kinds of weapons. 53%. Number 5 on the list, the Bengals. They're 1-3, and they have yet to win at home. They're 0-2. Their only win came this week against the lowly Carolina Panthers. I mean, the Bengals are just a tire fire. 6 on the list is Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson's one of my favorite players to watch, but he suffered a hip pointer yesterday against the Steelers. That's the 4th time he's only made 8 NFL starts. 4 of the starts he hasn't been able to finish. Stop running this kid recklessly and getting him just beaten up left and right. Number 7, the Eagles. The Eagles are not improved. They added Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator. They added Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator. Supposedly that was going to be, all was going to be right with the world. The Eagles just got drubbed by the Buccaneers. They don't look like the same team. Hurts doesn't quite look like the same quarterback. They obviously miss Kelsey's leadership. Eagles, just very disappointing. That to me, that's a surprise. All right, number 8 on the list, this is where the Niners come in. Mason and Jennings. I mean, if you told me that undrafted free agent Jordan Mason and 7th-round pick Juwan Jennings would be not just the Niners' most productive running back and wide receiver, but among the league's most productive running backs and wide receivers, I never would have bought that, and that's the case. So that, to me, is a huge surprise. I would say Miami. Miami's got Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle, Devin Achane, and they're averaging 11 points a game. That's the lowest point total in the entire league. Now, I realize Tua went down, but come on. Tua means that much. You've got all this speed, all these weapons, all this money that you spent on your offense, and you're scoring. I mean, you lost Christian Wilkins. There's a reason that your defense should regress. But 11 points a game for a team that has that kind of speed and that kind of offense, and Mike McDaniel supposed to be a genius? Very disappointing. That's a surprise. And number 10 on the list, I would say the Chargers. The Chargers are the best defensive team in the NFL so far. They're allowing only 12.5 points a game. Last year, they were 23rd in points per game allowed. Last year, they gave up 23.4 a game. They brought in Jesse Minter, who was with Harbaugh as the DC for the Wolverines, and he's young. I mean, he's like 40 years old. He's a first-time NFL defensive coordinator, and they're giving up 12.5 points a game and playing really, really good defensive ball. So there you go. Those are the 10 surprises, the biggest surprises, I think, through the first month of the NFL season.